My friends, my friends asked me to speak to them about the issue of children at home. So, what I like to call my COVID blues. And they said that it seems that parents now have to become teachers, and so we have to have a lot of sabr, a lot of patience, and a lot of mental strength. So, what shall we do? So, I say, have patience. First and foremost, let me express my sympathy with you. It might not look like sympathy, but it is. And that is by reminding you of two things. One is that it is not that you have suddenly been thrust into the role of a teacher. You always were a teacher, but you pretended to ignore it. You always were a role model, but you didn't care about it. And now suddenly it has come home to you. Children listen with their eyes, and when they are in your face for at least 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, you can believe it that they are watching you. And they are watching you from the time they are very, very small, from the time they are 1 year old, 2 year old. You forgot that because you got used to taking your children and putting them into a daycare center and then into a school, and then you thought that your role only was to feed them and clothe them and to keep them dry. And if they made noise, then throw toys at them and throw gadgets at them until they stop making noise. And you thought that this is where my job ends. Well, good news, doesn't end there. Never did. You only told yourself it did. It didn't. It didn't end there then. It doesn't end there now. Second thing is that you thought it was the job of the school to teach them. It wasn't. The school was a supplement. The school was something that helped you. The school teacher has their own children. It is the primary job of the one who gives birth to take care of that which it gives birth to. The mother and the father. These are the people who have the primary responsibility for the tarbiyah, for the raising of their children. So, good news, wake up. Second thing is that something which at least I have been saying to whoever I could find. Inculcate a love for reading. Introduce your children to books. A computer game, Xbox is not a substitute for books. Xbox is the destroyer of books. It's the destroyer of knowledge. It's the destroyer of learning. It's the destroyer of character. But you didn't believe it. And your children didn't believe it. And now they are stuck in the home with you. And there's only that much they can do with those wretched things. And so you have a problem. I don't know of any parents whose children love to read who have this problem. They don't. So now what do you do? Broadly speaking, obviously what I have to say is not advice that will apply from age 2 to age 20. It doesn't. But when I say children, I am talking about school-going children. So I'm saying primary and secondary school, maybe that kind of age of children. In one word, get them involved. Sadly, most people bring up children and they condition them to be customers. And the parents are the suppliers. The children's job is to ask and to beg and to plead and to moan and to groan and to make noise and to generally behave in ridiculous ways until they get what they want. And they usually get what they want because they have been schooled and they have been brainwashed into believing and understanding that as long as they can make enough of a nuisance, then the battle is theirs. that people will succumb to that and they will get what they want. So some more payoff and payback for the kind of raising and kind of upbringing that you did with your children. So these are all things to learn from. May Allah grant us the sense to learn from them before we need to learn from them. But I suppose, now we have reached a stage where I won't say it is too late, but definitely it is late. But whatever be the case, we still have to do what we have to do. So this is the second thing, which is get them involved. Meaning, don't answer things for them, don't answer their questions, don't give in to pressures, get them involved. So for example, schoolwork. Now you say, well, I have become a teacher, so I now have to teach my children. No, you don't have to. Let them teach themselves. Let them teach themselves. They have access to the internet. They have access to Google and whatnot and Wikipedia, and then of course they can go, and they should go. I mean, Wikipedia is only what somebody puts into it, so it is not the primary source of information. So get them used to doing proper research, teach them how to do proper research. And believe me, the good news of it is that in the process you will learn, right? You will learn. And nothing wrong with learning. It is a very good thing to do, believe me. At any age we can do that. At any age we can do that. So therefore, the thing to do is get them involved in teaching and learning, and get them involved in research, get them involved in finding out for themselves. Form groups of other parents and children who can interact on Zoom or whatever software and whatever app you're using, where they can share knowledge, they can share understanding, they can share questions and answers and so on and so forth. Get them to do all of that. Now here is where our technology comes to the fore and comes as a big aid for us. For example, one of the things which I find absolutely endlessly fascinating is the fact that today people can communicate with the astronauts in the International Space Station. Now, this is a beautiful opportunity. So you could do that. You could get this group of children together. Think of some experiment that you want them to do in space for you, or have some sensible, good questions that you can ask them, and then do that. Now imagine the thrill of that, the absolutely fantastic thrill of talking to an astronaut in the space station, which is going around the world. They see 16 or 17 sunrises and sunsets per day because of the speed at which this is going around the world. Now think about that, talk about that, think about that, and see how you can interact with that. Now think up various kinds of things to do which involve the children. The key thing is that get out of this customer mode. The children are not customers, you are not their suppliers. We are all in this together and we are going to beat it, and therefore let us work together, which is through discovery, which is through involvement, which is through being engaged with each other. Right? Then get them involved in actual projects, which is building things, cooking food, for example, for people who need food, and then distributing that food. By all means, of course, always take every precaution. Don't get yourself infected with COVID in the process, but definitely get involved in that. Get involved in distributing food, get involved in doing all kinds of social work, maybe making masks for people, whatever is valid and whatever is worthwhile and whatever works in your area. Obviously, I can't give you advice for all countries in the world, because each country, each place and each locality in each country has its own things that it needs. So therefore, whatever works in your country, in your locality, do that. get them involved in those projects. So there should be something for them to do every morning when they get up. In the morning, there should be something for them to look forward to, that today we are going to do this, and so on and so forth. Also, this gives them a sense of service. It gives them a sense of satisfaction of being connected with other people, of doing something which is worthwhile. And also it gives them a great deal of appreciation for the situation that they are in. So from simply sitting and complaining and saying, oh, but I'm sitting in my flat and so on, you get to the point of saying, Alhamdulillah, I have a flat. I am very happy. I am grateful to God that I have a flat. I am grateful to God that I have food. Alhamdulillah, I have food to eat. I am the one distributing the food to others. I am not standing in a line with a begging bowl waiting for somebody else to bring food to me. So this is a very, very big and important thing, because a lot of the children today of affluent people, and doesn't have to be very affluent, I'm talking about even middle class people, have become very complacent with what they have and what Allah has given them, and their whole orientation is to take it for granted and then complain because they don't have enough of it. And this what I'm suggesting will break that, and they will understand that there are other people in the world who are also human, but by the grace of God, you are not in their position. So therefore, let us try to help them as much as we can. So these are some of the things, quick ones. Get them start reading. Number 2 is get them involved in their studies by discovering the answers to what they are doing by themselves. You don't help them with that. Just give them the resources and sit with them and so on and so forth, and you will also learn in the process. And the third thing, and in that, be as creative as possible. We have, as I said today, we have access to information of open source data from big universities. You have access to the International Space Station and so on and so forth. Use all that. And then finally, get involved in real life projects with real life people which are helpful, beneficial for them, so that those people also will benefit, and these children also will have an appreciation for what they have in this world and in this life. Now, believe me, all of these things will combat and will actively fight against some of the mental illnesses like depression and paranoia. These things which I am saying will actively fight against many of the things that today are plaguing people, like depression, paranoia, loneliness, feeling very dejected and deprived and abandoned. All of this what I'm saying will help you to fight that as well. So I wish you all the best. Tell me how it works for you. I'm going to be uploading many such videos. Come back frequently, watch them. We're going to try and keep them short to within 15 minutes or so. I can't promise that with everything, but to the extent possible. So we'll try and do that. So make sure that you come and you watch and you give us some feedback. And then any subjects that you want me to address, please do let me know and send me information on this on the channel. You can put your comments. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you also enjoy the view. This is see the leaves of this tree behind me, how beautiful they are. So anyway, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and inshallah see you again. Assalamu alaikum.